Morning folks, 21st Century Caveman here. Hope everybody's well, hope everybody's happy. So we're talking knives this morning, and I just wanted to do a little comparison for you. If you watch my earlier video, you will have seen that I've just acquired a Victorinox Ranger Grip 78. This was a replacement for a Wenger Ranger Grip 79, which I lost 2 or 3 years ago. Basically it's almost the same knife, but there are just a couple of minor differences. But anyway, this is an absolutely fabulous knife, and so check out the other video on that, the unboxing. Now, I do have a number of knives actually. I'm an outdoorsy person. I do lots of hiking, camping, bit of bushcraft, that sort of stuff. So I do have 1 or 2 blades. And the other sort of main competitor, I suppose, is this item here. So this is a Leatherman Charge, and I've had this for about 3 or 4 years now. In fact, I actually had it around about the same time as I had that, and I used to swap these according to what I was doing and where I was going. And it did occur to me that, given the fact that they're both extremely useful, versatile items, you know, if you had to make a decision about which one to take with you, which one would you go for? I'll reset the camera and I'll get back to you. So what we'll do then, just to start off with, I'm actually going to open out both of these tools because they do each have a vast array of very useful tools indeed. And for those of you who may not be familiar with either of these items, I think it's important in order to make a comparison. So I'm just going to open out these. Right, okay, so let's just go over these then, shall we? So in the Victorinox, you can see we have a locking blade which can be opened with one hand. That locks into place. We have a bottle opener, wire stripper, we have a screwdriver. We have a Phillips screwdriver, we have an awl with a hole. We have a can opener, just here, and we have a little tiny flat-headed screwdriver. Now we have another item on here which is very, very valuable indeed, and that is basically we have a fantastic big saw. So that's the extent of the tools with the Victorinox, other than the little pair of tweezers, look. And a toothpick, just there. Now, we have a lot more tools on the Leatherman, so let's just unzip through these then, shall we? So we have a normal blade, which is one hand opening and does lock. We have another blade which has a sort of a serrated edge that also locks. Both of these are accessible from the outside. We have a small saw, which is, you know, pretty decent saw. We've got a file. I think one side is for metal, perhaps one side is for wood. You can see we have the pliers down here, and obviously with a Leatherman multi-tool, all of these are based around the pliers, which incidentally are very good. You've also got the, you can cut wire. You can see the bit inside there, look, okay. These pliers incidentally are absolutely fantastic. What else have we got here then? So you can see we've got a small pair of scissors. We've got a small screwdriver bit for spectacles. Now that has a Phillips on it and also a flat edge. You can see we also have another sort of screwdriver bit just here. On this side then we have a can opener, and we have a little holder here, look, you know, it's got a Phillips bit in, or a flat edge screwdriver, so they're both very handy indeed. So the thing is then, you know, they've both got lots of utility, but which one is more useful than the other? I think before you can make a decision like that, we need to consider other factors, don't we? So let's actually fold away some of these tools and let's compare things like size. So the blade on the Victorinox, well actually look, let's look at the overall length, okay? So the overall length of the Victorinox is 225mm or thereabouts, which equates to 9 inches, and on the Leatherman the overall length is 175mm, which is about 6 3/4 inches. The length of the main cutting blade on the Victorinox is 100mm, of which 90mm of that actually has a cutting edge. The blade on the Leatherman is 70mm long, and most of that is a cutting edge. Now, as we can see, they both have one-handed opening and they both lock, so this obviously has a bigger blade. I would also point out that this blade here, it's a little bit softer than the one here on the Leatherman, so this is a little bit easier to sharpen out in the field and to get him a nice edge, although it won't last, the edge on this won't last as long as that there, if that makes sense. Okay, so but this only has one blade. However, this has two blades, one of which is serrated, and the blade is the same length as the other one. So obviously this does appear to have a slight advantage over this one here, in the sense that you've got two blades rather than one. However, this has arguably got more utility because it is a longer blade and therefore arguably more useful. So that's the blades. So the size of the saw on the Victorinox is 100mm, and all of that is a sawing edge. The size of the saw on the Leatherman is 70mm, however about 65mm of that is for cutting. Okay, so clearly the blade on this one is, you know, quite a bit smaller than this, about 25% smaller than this one here, so this one will definitely have more utility. Now, screwdriver bits, if they're important to you. Let's just check these out for a moment, shall we? So the screwdriver bits on here then, I mean, you can put a vast array of different bits in here. I've got them upstairs, you know, I just keep these on the multi-tool. I don't bother taking all this other stuff with me because quite frankly I don't need it. So we can see that we have a smaller square edge, and we can swap that out for a small Phillips. So once again there is a size difference here. Look, this equates to the smaller straight edge, square edge, whatever you want to call it. This is quite a bit larger, although actually I believe that this has a larger screwdriver in here, and indeed it does. If I can get the damn thing out, where is it? So if we compare these, look, you know, they're very similar. Not a lot of difference there, is there? Now, in terms of the Phillips, we have one on the back here, look. and that compares with this one here. Well, I say it compares, I mean the one, the Victorinox, is clearly, well, it appears to be a bit big, you know, but that can be a little bit misleading. So, you know, they're actually quite similar, to be fair. Now, this does not have an awl on it, which is a considerable advantage for the Victorinox. I think the other thing is the fact that all these extra tools on the Leatherman, they do actually lock in place, okay. So if that's important to you, then obviously it's one up for the Leatherman. Now the other big thing as far as I'm concerned is the fact that it's all about weight, isn't it? Now, you know, weight's important because this is one of the reasons why I don't always take the Leatherman with me, because it is a fair old chunk of metal. This is also, you know, it's not light, but it's lighter, I believe, than the Leatherman. So let's just stick these on the scales and just compare weight, shall we? Because if you're going to, if weight is important to you, then this may actually, you know, seal the deal as to which one you're going to take. So let's make sure we've got everything in there. So we're putting back the toothpick and also the tweezers. So let's set this thing up, shall we? Right, so we're in grams then, and we're going to start off with the Leatherman charge. Let's place that bad boy on there. 245 grams. What does that say? Which equates to 8.6 ounces. So that's quite heavy, isn't it? So let's just compare it with the Victorinox. This is going to be lighter. And it's actually quite a bit lighter. Look, that's 170 grams. For those people who work in ounces, that's 6 ounces. So that's 25% lighter than the Leatherman. And that might be, you know, the thing which makes the difference as to which one you take out. So look, I mean, there's just a very sort of quick comparison of these two items. So, you know, which one would you take out with you? I mean, clearly that would depend on what task you expect to do when you're out and about. It will obviously depend what you're doing. It might, you know, depend on whether or not you're hiking, whether or not you're doing bushcraft, whether or not you are going to put yourself in potentially a survival situation, or even if you're sort of, you know, perhaps trekking long distances, you're going to be camping overnight, doing bushcraft. I mean, obviously, because of the array of tools on here, there are advantages and disadvantages to each. So I'd be really keen to hear what your comments are, viewers, and to give me some feedback. Hopefully that's been an interesting comparison for you. I look forward to hearing from you. In fact, the only other thing which I will mention whilst I'm thinking about it is the fact that with the Leatherman it does come with a pouch. This one does not come with a pouch. So so these are just the bare tools. Anyway, look, we'll leave it at that. Just, you know, get back to me, let me know your thoughts and the reasons for those. Thank you for watching.